to do is figure out what is top dead center. Okay? Top dead center on number one. Two different locations there, right? What would those two different locations be? Think of your four strokes. Intake, compression, power, exhaust. Okay, so we got between the exhaust stroke coming up, the intake down, that's valve overlap, top dead center. Intake, compression. We're at top dead center compression. So we have TDC valve overlap, and we have TDC compression. Okay? Drastically different. I can't adjust a valve if it's up on the cam lobe at all. Okay? Some of you guys, as you're putting your rocker arms today, were noticing that some valves were already opening, right? As you tighten down your rocker arm. You probably do because there are valves that are open all the time. I can't adjust a valve that's open. It's got to be closed. Okay? If you're just going to start, and I've got this one right here, we'll use this little Farmalt A as an example, that I don't have as nice and a neat of a written up how to adjust the valves. They're just going to give you a spec. Okay? There's multiple ways of doing this. The way with that one would have to be is I'd have to know that a cylinder is at top dead center compression. Then I can adjust that valve. Okay? How do I know, just looking at it, which one's top dead center? Valve overlap or compression. Okay? Think of those rocker arms you're looking at. If you're at top dead center compression, take the notes if you got notes to take. Okay. If you're top dead center compression, those valves should both be loose because at compression, both valves have to be closed, right? So there should be a gap. There's a 10 thousandths, 50 thousandths clearance. There's that gap. So I should be able to wiggle those. They should be loose. Now let's go past that compression. Okay? We're on compression, power, exhaust, intake. Exhaust, intake. What's going to happen is you're going to see those rocker arms rocking. Okay? Ford manual. You guys can be doing some Ford engines too. Okay? They say when the valves are rocking. That's what they mean by valve overlap. Okay? Rocking. Okay. So in this one, it's rocking. This is going on about the rocker arms. And these, they'll be loose. Okay? Okay. The only problem is, think of that valve timing spiral. Okay? Let's go with TDC. As that comes around on the intake stroke, compression stroke, power stroke, exhaust stroke. Okay, here's TDC, here's bottom dead center. My valve is going to be, the intake valve is going to be open in this range right here. My exhaust valve is going to be open in this range right here. But anywhere else in there, both valves are closed. But we want to find top dead center. When I'm right at top dead center, if there's no timing mark on the crankshaft, how can I tell that number one is at top dead center? Because both valves don't move. I go up top dead center and back down, and those valves don't move. How do I know when I'm right at top dead center? Okay? Firing order in that little one. Let's say right here on the side of the block. Turn right around there, Brennan, and look over there. Firing order. It says firing order. The firing order is 1342. Okay? And the confusion sometimes happens with this is the firing order is not, when you look at your engines, it's the specific cylinder that's going to fire in order. Okay? But that's not, one is the first one, three is the next one as you go back physically. numbered engine, except for a 2-cylinder. We have companion cylinders. The Kubotas are 2 cylinders. John Deere A is a 2-cylinder. You're just going to have those things going back and forth. Nothing's moving together. When I'm talking companion cylinders, that means within that engine, those pistons are moving up and down in unison together at the same time. They're at the same spot in the cylinder, moving up or down. They're companion. They're moving in the same direction. However, what happens is when one is on top dead center compression, what's the other one at? Just add it on here. What was it? Valve overlap. Okay? Now we go back through this next 2 strokes. This one comes up on compression. What's this one on? Valve overlap. Now we can identify valve overlap because we can look at that particular cylinder and see those valves rocking. And if I know that those valves are rocking, I know it's on valve overlap, so its companion cylinder has to be at top dead center. Right? We're looking at one and identifying another one. So how do we identify companion cylinders? It's really pretty easy. Okay? What you really got to kind of do is split that firing order down the middle. The first one of the first half, the first one of the second half. The second one of the second half, the second one of the second half. Okay? Those are companion cylinders. So on that A, those 1 and 4 are going up together in unison. Okay? 2 and 3 are going up together and down in unison. Okay? So if I'm trying to find number 3 top dead center, what do I have to find? Top dead center compression. How do I know when I'm at top dead center compression on number 3? Valve overlap on number 2. Okay? Small block Chevy fans, who's my small block Chevy fans? Okay? What's your firing order? Oh, come on now. You gotta be able to spit that baby out just like right there. How about a Mopar fans? Big block, small block. Ford's all screwed up anyway because they think it's fairly different. So I'm not gonna go down that road. It's too confusing. They made it easy for the Ford lovers to be able to do it because they numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4 down one side, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's too complicated to go back and forth. I don't know. Anyway, small block Chevy. Big block Chevy, small block Mopar, big block Mopar, 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Boom. All of those. Huh? Small block, big block. Even some Fords may actually use that. Okay? 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. So companion cylinders. Okay? The first half and the second half. There's 4 on this side, 4 on this side. So what's my companion cylinder for number 6? 1. Get it back first. What's my companion cylinder for number 8? 5. 4 is 7. 3 is 2. So that if I'm looking for number 6, top dead center, 1 is going to be on valve overlap. Okay? Now I gave you that for all of those. However, anybody look at what the firing order was on your Duramax? 1, 2, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 3. Okay? We have a winner. Okay? Companion cylinder, we're doing the same thing. We split them in there. 1 and 4, 2 and 5, 7 and 6, 8 and 3. Okay? They're on there just a little bit differently. Okay? But these cylinders are moving up and down together. These cylinders are moving up and down together. These cylinders and these cylinders. You roll that engine over, you notice you had two pistons at top dead center. And when you did that, you would have had one of these companion sets. Okay? That being said, you may get an engine. We're going to start into, once we get these done, we've got the Detroit, the Cat, a couple of Cummins, the Yanmar, we've got stuff out in the barn. And one of the main things you're going to have to do as far as servicing on a diesel engine is really adjusting the valves. Okay? So we got to understand how this is working. Okay? This is where you're saying to run to top dead center. Well, I may be top dead center compression, or I may be top dead center valve overlap. I got to know which one it is. Okay? So you may get one that doesn't tell you what are all the different ones you can do. Now, how long is this going to take if I do it this way? I'm going to have to roll it up on number 1. Okay? Roll it up on number 1, and I'm looking at number 4, valve overlap. I can go ahead and adjust number 1, right? Okay? If I turn that engine 1/4 of a turn, let's think about that. Complete the 4 strokes, how many revolutions the crankshaft do I need? 2. Okay? Now if I take those 2 revolutions and break it into 8 cylinders, that's a 1/4 turn for each cylinder. Okay? If it was a 6-cylinder, it'd be 1/3, 2/3, 1, 1 1/3, 1 2/3, 2 turns. Okay? So I go ahead and adjust 1. Get up there somehow on that crankshaft pulley, or have a rotator. There's some rotators that plug in and actually turn your flywheel for you. They kind of replace your starter, and you put a ratchet on them and roll them around. So you're going to roll that 1/4 turn, and I'm going to look for 5 coming up on top dead center, valve overlap. When I've gone that 1/4 turn, I can adjust 2. Repeat through all 8 cylinders. Time frame. A little bit of a time frame, isn't it? Okay? How easy is it to get to the crankshaft bolt? On these right now, real easy, right? How about when that's packed in a truck? Not so easy, is it? Okay? Not so easy. So, if you have to do it this way because there's no other direction, this is the way you do it. Ford actually gives this method, and they also give the 2-turn method. Okay? The 2-turn method is that we're going to find top dead center valve overlap or compression. Doesn't matter. I don't care which one. And in my, get some lights set up here. Get my screen down. See this right here. You guys are looking through, should have found some of these diagrams right here. Okay, here's one right here. This is my front pulley. Here's the bolt I'm trying to turn on. And the other problem, you start trying to turn on that, what? It's torque, right? So can I change that torque by using it as a turning bolt? Sure can. So that's where a lot of times you're better off getting back and turning the flywheel if you can. There's a mark on the front pulley. Remember that front pulley was key to the crankshaft. That key has to be in there. If the key's not in there, you stick it back in because the pin fell out. Stuck it back in there. 2 things can happen. One is that engine can shake like crazy. 2 is it can go ahead and be out of time. You think it's top dead center, it's not. So I go ahead and line this mark up. There's on the front cover, there's a line. On the pulley, there's a line. Okay? I line those 2 up. I don't know if I'm on top dead center compression or if I'm top dead center valve overlap. I line it up. And when I line it up, I check number 1. If it is on top dead center compression, what will I notice? They should be loose. Now this is not in yours. All of them may be loose in yours. Okay? If it's at valve overlap, what should I notice? The rocking motion. So even if they're loose and I push down on the adjusting bolts, and I'm pushing down the rocker arms, as I move that back and forth past the top dead center mark, if I'm feeling those lifters move up and down, those push rods move up and down, then I'm going to be feeling valve overlap, right? You know they're loose, okay? Well, based on that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find top dead center. In the book, one of these showed up first. I don't know which one. It doesn't matter to me. If you're a top dead center compression, use the ones that fall in for top dead center compression. Okay? But what if you happen to fall into valve overlap? This one happens to be valve overlap. Okay? Because I know on one, on top dead center, I can adjust both valves on one. You see any ones up here? Up here in these numbers? There's no ones up here, are there? Okay? So I know this is valve overlap. I roll it around, I know my top dead center, I feel it rocking. I can go ahead and adjust these 8 valves. Or I should say, these 8 rockers, because they're working more valves than that, right? But there are 8 rocker arms that I can adjust. I get them all adjusted. And adjustment's a field. You're going to slide it in. If it says, anybody know what the clearance is? 10 thousandths? That's part of that whole procedure. Do we see it? It had to be sitting there someplace as you read it. Huh? 12 thousandths? Okay, well, we need to clarify that. So if I take a feeler gauge and slide between the bridge, that little pad on top of the bridge, and the tip of the rocker arm out there, I can slide that in. Okay? Now I want to have 12 thousandths feel, so I'm going to loosen or tighten the adjusting screw. The nut has to be loose first. That's just a jam nut to lock it in place. That nut's got to be loose first. I'm going to go ahead and slide a feeler gauge in. And then when you get one side done, you're going to have Mr. Drake and I come over, and we're going to go ahead and check it for you. I'm going to put it in there. If I've got to shove it in, it's too tight. If I can take a 13 thousandths and slide it in, it's too loose. So double check that. That's just a feel. It's just supposed to be a slight drag, kind of like you were using micrometers. Okay? It's just going to be a slight drag. You've got to force it, and that feeler gauge has got to buckle. Too tight. If I can pull that out and pull in a 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever, it's too loose. So then you're going to go ahead and adjust it. There's a torque on that nut. You're going to torque that nut down. Well, the problem is sometimes when you torque that nut down, you actually move the adjusting screw just a little bit. So after you torque that down and adjust it, okay, or you adjust it and you torque it down, you're going to go ahead and check it again. But make sure they're all checked on a half, and then have Mr. Drake and I check them. Okay, have it right there. Tell me what you set them to. We'll go ahead and check them. We may have to say, hey, redo this one or this one or this one. Okay? So whichever one I do, whether I was at number 1 top dead center or number 1 valve overlap, I go adjust the valves, double check them, make sure they're right, have Mr. Drake or I check them, and then my next step is what? What's that? Roll it over 360 degrees. I bring the mark back again. Okay? I go ahead and bring the mark back on them. Okay? Am I at top dead center? Yep, I'm at top dead center, but I'm 360 degrees out. At that point in time, then I can go ahead and do the other valve. Now I see 1 up in there right now. Okay? I know because it's 1, I know that I'm top dead center compression. Okay? But we've been doing a lot of things, guys, with just binding specs. We have procedures in shop keys too. We're looking at 1 page of specs. The how to get to those specs and how to measure those specs and how to set them for those specs is a procedure that has to be followed. Okay? You guys are going to be running into this day in and day out. What happens when the new truck comes in? Nobody in your shop's worked on it. Who are you going to ask? You got nobody to ask, do you? Except you reference material. Okay? You may be the guy that everybody else goes, say, how much is that clearance? How much is that clearance? After a while, you get a little annoyed that you get asked for that clearance. Remember back to this day when I said, gosh, I'm not the workshop man. Okay? I'm trying to make money on this job, and you're over here asking me questions all the time. Okay? You're going to have to keep going to that. But don't just rely on the measurements in that. The procedures shop manual, and then you had to pull the PTO shaft out first. They didn't. They bent it. $300. Oops. That's what happens a lot of times. We kind of move things up. Also, the book may show you how to make time. If it's a 2-hour job and you take 3, have you lost money? You betcha. If it's a 2-hour job and you get that done in an hour and a half, you make money. That's how you make money in the world. In this world, this career. Okay? If you're played on flat rate, it takes 6 hours to do this job. I get it done in 5, I still get 6. I might only physically put in a 40-hour week and I get paid for 60. How bonus is that? That's bonus. That's money. Okay? That's good money. All right? So we've got feeler gauges in the center cabinet.